said that any man who would go to sea for his pastime would go to the devil for his pleasure. And that also applies to the sport of Grand Prix offshore yacht racing. Aboard the Intuition is the owner and skipper Pat Malloy, along with movie actor Sam Jones.
Racing!
Captain Malloy and his crew have joined a day race off Newport, Rhode Island in a world-class series called the Onion Pack. It's a sport of adventure and skill. The men on board uniting as a team focused on a single goal, to sail from one mark to another in the shortest time and to win. Under full spinnakers, the yachts offer a colorful sight that few sports can match. But for Pat Malloy and his crew, the big test will be the race down to Bermuda. And for Sam Jones, the only novice on board, the Bermuda race looms as a journey into the unknown.
We return to Newport Harbor, home of the America's Cup and full of great history and tradition. Newport is also where men of great wealth built extravagant mansions facing out to the sea. Newport is the ocean racing center of the country, drawing an international fleet of boats and teams. The Bermuda race began in 1906. The Bermuda race is one of the world's premier offshore competitions, and now the 1982 event was about to begin. The course is 635 miles into the treacherous Gulf Stream and Bermuda Triangle. A voyage of nearly 4 days, and for some, maybe much longer.
Okay. Have a good trip.
Elizabeth?
This one you can go in.
Take care of everyone. When the day arrived for the start, I said goodbye to my wife, Lynn, wondering if my landlubber's legs could take it. Now, the day race had been enough, but underneath I asked myself, do I really know what I'm in for? Throughout the harbor, crew members were getting their yachts set for the days and nights ahead. There were going to be 15 of us aboard the 52-foot Intuition, and that meant 15 sets of dry clothes and enough food. Everything from canned goods down to crackers. Underneath there was tension, and then bad news.
I'm speaking for the Commodore and the race committee. Gentlemen, at this time, we're continuing to monitor the storm system, which still exists. There will be a delay.
A growing storm off the East Coast, winds of 65 miles per hour heading north. For only the second time in 77 years, the Bermuda race was being delayed.
3 hours away then, huh?
Yeah, that's right. That means our start, if they started on sequence, would be at 5:15 tonight.
But by evening, the ocean storm was still racing, so we'd have to wait some more. The race committee's big fear was any repetition of the 1979 tragedy off England when disaster struck the Fastnet race. 5 boats were sunk, 24 had to be abandoned, 77 were capsized, and 15 lost their lives. For the British, it was the largest rescue operation since Dunkirk. In Newport, 2 days after the delay, we got the word.
This is the Bermuda Race Committee. The Bermuda race will start today at the time of day stated in the sailing instructions.
Okay, we'll go. All right.
Hey, this is the real thing.
For Pat, it was more than just a race.
When you sail an offshore boat, you accept incredible responsibility. When you leave the dock, you say, what do I have to do? I have to first bring everybody back alive, and then I have to win this race. And now, how do I motivate everybody to do what they have to do, not risk their lives, and get from point A to point B as fast as they can? And when you leave the dock and you throw the lines away, all of a sudden, you're on your own. No matter what material asset, no matter what you've done previous in life, it doesn't mean anything.
One bag is on the port side, the other bag is on the starboard
David
side.
Berridge, he's a New Zealander. He's the only person paid on the boat, and he's paid to maintain the boat, make sure it's in racing condition. What he does is a very, very unthankful job.
If on a run with the spinnaker up,
I feel very good when we go to sea because we've had very good sailors. I've got two good watch captains. Andy McGowan, he's sailed 12 meters. He's done just about every type of racing in the world. And he's a very responsible guy. He's a very conservative guy. And I know when I go down below that nobody will have any problems because he will do the most responsible things.
so if you hear the cry, man overboard,
I also have another watch captain, Ron Love. And Ron is probably one of the most aggressive sailors in the world.
If you do an instant attack, just let the
I've
main
been
go
fortunate
right
enough to
down
find
the
a fellow
track.
named Chaz from Taz. He comes from Tasmania. He's done just about everything from sailing with King Carlos in Spain. He knows Prince Philip very well, and whenever things get really tight, Chaz has to do everything.
Right back and pick the guy up on the leeward side.
In a record fleet of 182 entries, the smaller class boats were starting, and we were next. Starting time was coming up fast. We saw the queen of the fleet, Nirvana. A brand new state-of-the-art maxi boat. 81 feet long, Nirvana had 25 sailors aboard. It was seconds before the starting gun, and I realized how demanding it is for the skipper and crew to try and hit the line with exact timing.
45 seconds. Get the bank ready to go on.
The final countdown had begun. The brightly colored spinnakers were beginning to rise. But soon the wind was blowing much stronger. With every gust, 20-ton boats were getting tossed around like rag dolls.
Ready for big trim. Gotta go.
Leave it out. Leave it out. Let it out. Keep easing the sheet out. Keep easing the sheet out.
There is a famous quote that racing offshore race boats is like standing in a shower, tearing up $1,000 bills. Boat costs $500,000 to start. To do a race like this costs $25,000. Then if you blow out some sails at $3,000 apiece, then it becomes very expensive.
Most crew members are too busy racing to get rich, but Pat's a self-made man who earned his fortune as a commodities trader. He worked his way through college and then he went to Vietnam.
Got shot down twice.
I want to win, and to win, you have to take some chances. So somehow you have to go out and put yourself on a risk. And if you don't take a risk, life wouldn't be fun. I mean, you wouldn't go on to the next day unless you thought there's a challenge there. I named one boat challenge and named the other one intuition. You know, that's because that's the way I live my life.
I love that edge. I love the feeling of going out into a challenge. You know that that's a chance everybody takes. It's just, there's 182 boats out here, and I'm sure everybody sailing on each one of those boats know the chances you take when you go to sea. But that's why I go.
As the first day wore on, I noticed how the crew had slowly left all thoughts of shore behind. The early tension of the start was gone. I could sense a change come over each man. Now the rhythm of the vast open ocean was taking over. Different body rhythms were synchronized with the movement of the sea. At night, the crew watch system of 4 hours on, 4 hours off was changed, 3 on, 3 off. Even in darkness, we were still pushing for speed.
Watch is over.
Jammed down below were dozens of sails, all taking up space. Human comfort had to be pushed aside. It was like being around a campfire, away from civilization. But instead of a forest, we were off in the dark Atlantic. Bermuda was still more than 500 miles away. As the sun rose, we were treated to one of those glorious mornings. And there was a feeling of camaraderie, maybe because we were all sharing that beauty on our own, far away from anyone else in the world.
Hey, Ron, just like I told you, be glassy calm in the morning, easy to change the batten.
All of a sudden, we had company. I guess the dolphins had seen us and decided to come and take a look. But these graceful, friendly animals were moving fast, as if they too were racing. As they headed off, they appeared to be a shoal with waves crashing over jagged rocks. By afternoon and more than 24 hours of racing, we'd come about 200 miles, or a third of the way. We were never in sight of even one of the other boats, but always by day there was the sun as a guiding force, as it has been for sailors over the centuries. The ancient art of celestial navigation is still the most reliable guide. Chaz measured the angle of the sun with the horizon.
The time was 11:49 and 52 seconds.
7 degrees, 15 minutes, 25 seconds.
Now, through some tables, we will be able to work back to where we are on a curve on the Earth. On this curve, we can plot ourselves, and we'll plot another one a little bit later where the two crosses our position. We use this to back up all the electronic instruments, because we know that this never fails. The sun's always in the same place at the same time.
We sailed on in the sunlight, but I reflected back to the day race off Newport, remembering how suddenly we had problems. We were coming up to a mark in 30 knots of wind. Crew members battled against tons of force to pull in the spinnaker. It was agonizing, especially for Pat. For Merrick Pratt, the ultimate nightmare.
As we rounded what's called the leeward mark, the spinnaker fouled. We've had spinnakers fouled before, and that's part of the game. We had a very good race going. We were probably in the top 3 or 4 boats, having one more windward leg, which meant we could have possibly won the race. It wasn't so much that he screamed. I looked in his face. I saw the fear, the pain that can only be expressed in somebody's face.
I got her. I can't let her down any further.
Pat immediately slammed the boat over and they raced back, getting Merrick in only 90 seconds.
That's close enough, Merrick. That's close enough.
To hold on, Dave even used his teeth.
What are you to hell down there, guys?